Hey everyone, it's Sunday, it's Arsenal Fan Circle, and we have Gary, Tony, and I here with me. So thank you guys for joining once again. We're going to jump into it a few different topics today. We're going to talk about this is a prediction podcast, and we want to possibly give a couple of shirts away to our viewers, to our subscribers. So now that we know our squad, and we got Partey in. We got Gabrielle in, two big additions to our team. Now we know our squad. We know what is happening with the other teams. We've seen 4 games in the league, so I want all of you viewers and panel guests can join in as well. Predict the top 20 teams in the Premier League by the end of the season in the correct order, and get it in by before kickoff on Saturday, before the Manchester City game on Saturday. Get it in. You have to be a subscriber and you have to get your predictions in. You can put them in the comments here on the video, or you can put them in on Twitter at Arsenal Circle. Um, but I'll be sending something out on Twitter as well. So get that in. You have a chance of winning a shirt. Secondary competition also will be predicting, and this will also be for another prize by the end of the season, predicting what Arsenal will do this season. How many wins? I want wins, draws, and losses. I want goals for and goals against. So that will definitely yield 1 or 2 winners. You know what I mean? And then we'll do a draw if there's a tiebreaker. We will do a draw or questions toward the end of the season. So get involved, get it in by before kickoff on Saturday when we do play Manchester City. And yeah, I'm excited. So let's get into it. To start here, we're going to start off with our own predictions, and I'm going to throw you some low-hanging fruit, an easy one to start off with. Mahir, first question is your first predicted question is who will win the Premier League?
Manchester City,
Manchester City. Okay. And why do you think that?
because I know they've hit a blimp recently. They seem to be going down in form, but I have a feeling it's going to pick up. And honestly, you guys know me well enough that I don't like loudmouthed fans basically, and some uh, Liverpool fans have come at me recently. I mean, a lot of them I do love. A lot of them are close to me,
Yeah.
but some have come a bit too aggressively at me when asking just general questions about the league.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, okay. Did you guys lose another 7-2 to somebody, or another big score line like a 5-0, and then come talk to me again after that? Because you'll be getting
Okay.
banned.
All right. So you're going for Manchester City, and that was your quick answer as to why. Tony, who's going to win the Premier League?
I originally had City winning it, but I think Liverpool will. I think both teams will be back into the mid 80s. Neither one's a run away with the league like I did.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. I think Liverpool will win the Premier League. They've got all the tools. They really should. We see a lot of teams faltering in their wake. Manchester City are on 4 points right now. Very Arsenal finish to their 3 games, although we have 9 points. From their 3 games, they've drawn one, lost one, and won one. So I'm going to go for Liverpool. Gary?
Yeah, before these first 4 games, I had Liverpool, and even though even though it was a really bad loss for them, I still have it as Liverpool. I feel like all that shows is I think that it won't be a 20-point, runaway with the league. I think it'll be closer. But like you said, I think they have the experience. They do have the players that you need to win it. I just feel like maybe Mane may come out and do a lot more than he did last year, which gives him a little bit more, more threat on the offensive side. And I just feel like, I think with everything that's going on, I think at the end of the day they will kind of be able to maybe squeak one out at the end. Yeah.
So you're going for Liverpool as well, Gary?
Yep.
Shout out to Assembled and FIFA Darren, you're in, and of course we've got Gary here. Tony, we're going to go to the second predicted part of this podcast. How will Arsenal? Does Arsenal make the top four?
I think we,
Tony.
I think we barely make it. I think we squeak in at fourth. We might finish fifth, but I think players are bought in enough to Arteta what he's wanting from them, and I think we'll finish fourth.
Okay, you think we'll finish fourth? Mahir, where do you think Arsenal will finish? In the top four, yes or no?
Oh, I think you're muted.
Yes. You're muted.
He's still rambling.
Can't hear you.
Sorry. Yes, I really honestly think so. It's going to be very close, with other teams close on our heels, but somehow we'll snag our way into fourth, I believe.
The Assemble, I would like you to get involved as well. It is a yes or no answer. Will Arsenal make the top four? And Mahir just said yes. I also think we will make top four. I think our ceiling is 3 to 5, and a really, really good season, we could get third. So I'm going to go yes, we will make top four. So Gary?
Yeah, well, when I did this the first time, I had us at 5. I have us at 4.5, so I'm kind of wishy-washy on that one. I feel,
okay,
you know, I think Partey gives us some pluses, but here's the reason why I said 4.5 though, is because I feel like for natural progression, I think I'd rather us, succeed in the Europa League than to finish fourth and maybe not be able to because of just the wear and tear it takes to be a top 4 team. So I kind of like to see us kind of grow, be able to win a big tournament, and then get Champions League as well. So
you actually think we won't get top 4, but we could do very, very well in the Europa League?
Yep.
All right. So, and this will just be fun to check back on. But I want to give a shout out to Alex and Ralph over at Cannon Fodder TV. We did a predicted score challenge, Mahir and myself, the two people from this channel and 2 people from their channel, and we did not win the challenge. So we took the ice bucket challenge. You can find our videos, our respective bats or whatever you want to call them. Non-ice bat. Did you put ice in that thing, Mahir?
You know what? Somebody said to me as I was about to do the challenge, I think it was my mother. She said to me, listen here, why don't you just fill it with warm water? I said, what's the point of a ice bucket challenge? It's supposed to be ice cold water. I don't know how you guys didn't see the ice or hear the ice literally falling on me and my face, like I couldn't breathe. I just stood there. I was like, okay, that just happened. Everybody have a nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, we took the challenge. We lost, so we're good sports about it, and we're going to try and Cannon Fodder and ourselves are going to try and come up with another challenge that this channel and the panel members of this channel can participate in as well. So we might expand it. Okay. So the third question in our predicted goals, our predicted Arsenal predictions podcast here is I picked our main front 3 players, and we're going to go one by one. We're going to go through Lacazette, Pepe, and Aubameyang, and we are going to predict the amount of goals that each of those players are going to score. And we're going to start with Aubameyang because he has scored the most goals last season out of those 3. So, Mahir, I'm going to get you on record first. How many goals in only the Premier League now? Only Premier League games will Aubameyang score?
25.
25 for Mahir. Okay. That's quite a high total. Tony?
18.
18. And I think, well, I'll just wait for my answer. Okay, so Tony's on 18. Gary?
I actually have 25. So
You have 25 as well.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I'm going to go for 22. I've got 22 down here. I think that personally, with Arteta getting the team moving and more offensively moving as well, I think Partey is going to help Pepe as well. And that's going to reduce slightly the amount of goals that Aubameyang will score. We kind of hope that the goals are going to be scored or shared around a little bit more between the front players. So my personal opinion is that Aubameyang may not get as many goals as he has done in previous years, but Tony's gone on the low end. He's taken the gamble there. He wants to. He could be right. That could be a canny pick there, Tony. All right. So between 18 and 25 for Aubameyang. Now Lacazette, Mahir. How many goals will Lacazette score?
Lacazette about
15 goals. He's never been the type of player that would score 20 goals a season. I think that's probably a decent amount. Gary?
With 16.
16 goals. And he's off to a good start. 3 goals in 3 games so far. So he's doing very, very well.
Only 2 goals. Only 2 goals count, right? With Premier League?
He scored against West Ham. He scored against
They're all 3.
Liverpool, and he scored against
Fulham,
right?
Yeah, I am wrong. Sorry. Aye. Okay.
3 and 3. So
that's right. 3 and 3. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go for myself, Lacazette. I'm going to go for 15 goals for Lacazette. So I agree with Mahir on this. And people in the comments, stick around. We're going to talk about William Saliba. We're going to talk about the Interlull, and we're going to talk about the Premier League last weekend as well, once we get through this Arsenal prediction podcast. Okay, so Tony, Lacazette, how many goals will he get?
22.
22. All right, so wow, Tony, you've actually given Aubameyang 18 goals in the Premier League, and Lacazette is going to outscore him with 22.
Yep.
All right, that is a bold prediction indeed. And we'll get into some comments here. Arsenal injuries haven't kicked in yet. Can we cover them is the key. Darren, thank you for your support for Mental Health Day yesterday. Even Lee Dixon, Derek Ray, Arlo White, Amy Lawrence, and the podcast group was so great, so huge. Thank you to you guys. So, yeah, it's a really, really big thing for anyone who's going through these issues. Reach out to the groups that are dedicated and have the know-how and knowledge to help you. And even many times just reaching out to a friend can help. And also remember, anyone watching, most important thing is to listen. You can give a little bit of advice here and there, but the big thing is to listen to people who are going through these issues, and very often that is a very comforting thing as well. Aubameyang 15-20 for these symbols. So yeah, we're thinking lower 19. Lacazette 13. He's never scored more than Giroud in a season. Prison Break part 23, Meyer. So actually, season 3, episode 8 here of Prison Break. So check that one out. Finally, Tony, we're gonna go to Pepe. Pepe, how many goals will he score in the Premier League?
12.
12. Okay. Mahir?
14.
I swear. I have Pepe at 14 as well, and Mahir and I did not confer at all. So
Nope. I haven't spoken to you.
that leaves Gary.
15.
15 goals. Okay, so we're all about between the 12 and 15 range for Pepe. Okay, so that concludes section 3. Section 4 of the 5 predictions we're going to make here today is Arsenal goals for and against. I'll start off we'll do the goals for first, and I'll start off with Tony. How many goals will we score in the Premier League, Tony?
60.
60?
65.
65. All right. I have 67. I think we're gonna score more goals this season. Gary?
I guess I'm a little ambitious here. I I kind of went through all the games and kind of like made my guesses. So I actually have I think it's 78.
Whoa, we're gonna be free scoring under Utah. Gary,
Those are going to be nice.
I feel like we've got Partey, so our defense is going to be a lot more solid, which means to me, I believe we're going to have more possession, which means more opportunities to score. I expect Pepe to improve.
Yep.
I expect Saka to improve. I expect the offense to improve. If that's
78 goals.
if the pressure moves, if we're lacking more, if we're pushing things forward, I think we're gonna have more opportunities. So
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm looking, and it's what I'm hoping based on where we've been so far.
Tony, so that's 78 goals, right, Gary?
That's correct.
It's a bold prediction. I love it. But you know what that means, Tony?
Would I have a high
I
conversion?
love it.
Well,
Yeah, I love it.
That means we're going to have some 4-0 victories, I think. And that means if the Arsenal luchador is watching, he could make an appearance with some 4-0 victories right there and then. You know what I mean? So this leaves Mahir. How many goals are we going to score, Mahir, in the Premier League?
I'm actually also going in the high range. I'm going about 70, 72.
72. Okay. All right. So Tony's 65. I'm 67. Mahir is 72, and Gary went for 78. And Darren likes to score some good goals on FIFA as well. So 80 he's going to go for. I would be very, very high up there. Goals against. Since you went with 78, Gary, I'm going to give you the first go at goals against.
Well, I think our defense will be solid, but I think there'll be a lot of back and forth. So we're going to be a little bit worse than last year. So I'm going 48. So it's a 2-goal worse than what we did this previous year. But
okay, 48. So there'll be some Chelsea kind of scores this season coming up. I actually think we have to improve in defense, and I think we have the players who have already improved this. We've got Gabriel, Tierney as well, and we're going to talk about Tierney and his situation on the international break pretty soon. But I think we will concede less goals, and I'm going to go for 38 goals against. So we're going to get into the 30s for me. 38 goals. Mahir, goals against.
40.
40. Okay. 40 goals against. And Tony.
40.
40 as well, Tony. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to have the review at the end of the season. We're going to get other members, people who are coming on Thursday night. We're going to get their prediction as well. That means you, Stan, and means probably Sam as well as Alonso. So we're going to get a few of those in there. And Stan said we didn't do goals for Eddie. True, because we hope Eddie gets about 10 goals, but he's not going to be one in the top 3 of our goal scorers, I don't think.
Well, it also depends on if Martinelli comes back healthy, because if he does, then Eddie's goals are gonna suffer as well. So
which makes Tony's prediction for Aubameyang looking better. If you share more and more goals around the team, Aubameyang's gonna drop down a little bit.
We're not sharing, we're getting more. I don't want to share. I want more goals.
That's why you went for 78, Gary. Okay. Number 5 of the last question. We're going to have 7 games, 1 game with Liverpool, 7 games against the top teams or the expected top 4. We're going to gate crash that top 4 for sure. So we'll call it the top 5. 1 game versus Liverpool and the 2 games against City, United, and Chelsea. That will be 7 games that we're going to play against them, home and away. 4 will be home, 3 will be away. How many of those games will we win, Mahir?
I'm going with a solid
3. Okay.
3 from 7.
What?
3 from 7.
3 from 7. I thought you said 3.7, which you can't have. Tony, how many games will we win?
4.
4. Okay. I agree with
Wow.
you, Tony. I agree with Tony. I got
Wow.
4 down as well. 4 wins. Gary?
I got 3.
Okay. So that's the predictions. Podcast. We could have gone into a lot more detail, but it'll be just fun to unbox that at the end of the season, see what happens. And Darren's going for 4. Okay, so next section, let's talk about. Go ahead, Tony.
What about our total losses and draws and total points?
Oh, you want to predict that as well?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Got to give Gary and Mai here some time to think about that.
I think I actually have the points. Yeah, I think I have the points. So I think I'm good to go whenever you guys are ready.
Are we just going for points, or are we going for win, draws, losses?
I did it. I did everything. So
You did everything. Okay. I'll let Tony start off.
22 wins, 8 draws, and 7 losses. Or 23 wins, 23 wins.
23 wins. Wow, that's ambitious. 8 draws and 7 losses.
Yep. For
Okay.
4 points.
For 74?
Yep.
Okay. Gary?
I had 24 wins, 7 losses, 7 draws. So I believe that comes out to 79.
24, 7, 7, 7?
Yep.
Okay. And Mahir?
I'm going the same as Gary there.
Gary?
It's on such short notice. I'm thinking what would be realistic, and I mean, if I would be in tears if we got into top 4 with some beautiful results against beating all of the smaller teams, which we should do, and coming up with some absolute stunner of matches against the top. Is it top 6? Yeah, top 6.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, last season we had 14 draws, and you just win half of those, right? You're already in the 20s, and I like to think we are better now. We're going to be more improved. Our defense is better, so that gives us the extra 3 goals games for me. So
yeah, surely it's time to party.
Correct.
Okay, I got it. 21 wins, 9 draws, and 8 defeats, which will give me 72 points. Okay.
Where's Ray's optimism?
My optimism is less than your optimism, and less than Gary's optimism. And apparently, my hearers just piggybacked off of Gary's.
I love the energy, positive vibes.
Yeah, and we got Thomas Partey, and as Gary, you mentioned, the thing that Thomas Partey is going to do is transition play through midfield a lot quicker. And who's that going to benefit? For me, that's going to benefit the player who needs it the most in our team, who seems to be on an island a lot of the time, having to defeat or go past 3 players. I think if Partey can transition the ball and break some lines, instead of Pepe having to beat 3 players, maybe he has to beat 1 or 2 players on the inside right channel.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. Like the ball won't spend as much time on the back line as it does now, and it'll move. And as it breaks through, we'll have more opportunities. So, and also those breaks where you see that the players trying to cut through the seams. Those will open up, and where actually we'll hit them on their runs. A lot more because they have a little bit of stability behind them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Tony. I think Pepe is gonna improve on last season. We saw him coming to life a little bit toward the end of the season, and the FA Cup final was probably one of his best games for Arsenal last season. And we've seen him sort of respond to the challenge in that watch along that you had with Gary. where Pepe was sort of opened up a little bit and had some more opportunities, scored a great goal.
Yeah, first time came on, me and Gary were not going to give him man of the match for those 10 minutes. Hopefully,
Could you try again?
don't know where Siri came up there, but
December has given us 22 wins, 12 draws, and 4 defeats for 78 points. So those are lofty. Remember, we got 56 points last season, and that's an improvement of 22 points, which is probably going to be a tall order, I would say. But I love the optimism as well. Let's
yeah, hopefully Pepe gets starts. That's his main problem. He's just been used so haphazardly. It's hard for him to hit the ground running with the way he's been played.
So we'll dip a little bit more into the predictions with Stan, Sam, and probably Alonso on Thursday night. That way we will have 7 people on record. I think Rohan's going to send me some predictions as well, and I might get a few other people to do that, so we can look back on all of this at the end of the season when we win the Europa League. We beat Tottenham 5-1 in the Europa League final, and we go on to the top 4, finishing in 3rd place, scoring 78 goals as bookmarked by Gary, and conceding 38 goals as bookmarked by me. So it'll be a great season. So we are going to it's Davy Crockett on the Wild Bunch, and waiting for Steve Denham to get in the house because he has given me a request to do something, but we'll wait for that a little bit later in the program. So Tony is going to be back with us in a second. Okay, so next section is William Saliba. Gary, as we mentioned a little bit on Thursday night, it's a delicate situation for William Saliba. I put a poll out yesterday for Arsenal fans to do the poll on, and the poll was split down the middle almost. 53% would like William Saliba to stay at Arsenal, within the confines of Arsenal, to address the grieving that he's going to be going through, the homesickness, and 47% said send him out on loan. What do you think personally is the best thing? If you were Arsenal making those decisions, Gary, what would you do with William Saliba?
Yeah, I guess first I'll start with I feel like the team may have let him down a little bit, because I thought it seems like if the plan was to send him back to France to play because they thought that was best for him, and they weren't able to, I don't think they implemented it soon enough. I think that kind of a decision should have been made a lot sooner than it was. So I think they kind of let him, they didn't do what was best for him at the time, and then had to scramble and try to get things done. So I feel like that is the one thing. And if that's the reason why he's going back to France, is because he needed, the support system that he has there, sending him out on loan to me just doesn't mesh. The two don't. It doesn't make any sense to me to do that. If the goal is to, at least provide him with the support he needs during these times. I did like the idea that we keep him. And then we also let him go back to France and spend some time there to kind of get his mind right and kind of feel comfortable and do whatever training he can there, and then come back later in the year or next year and kind of get back into the fold and get some games in, be it at the U22s or even some of the cup games or whatever we have that maybe he may have an opportunity to play in. So I do like that idea. Sending him out on a loan just seems like that kind of defeats the purpose, I believe. So I feel like keep him in house, but then give him some freedom, to kind of get himself in a proper place mentally.
Yeah. Like I said on Thursday, you could send him to a good footballing team in the Championship, Watford or Brentford. But that doesn't mean he's going to be playing up against strikers who are more physical, would like to lead the foot in a little bit more on him. and it's leaving him open to not develop. I mean, it will toughen him up, no doubt about that. But I think we need to, and again, just thinking about this now, we're talking about mental health awareness, and a lot of this comes into play when you're grieving as well. I mean, because if you're not in the right headspace to play professional football, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to be able to compete at the highest level. It is a very, very tough business. You have to be mentally strong to play football. And the first part of that is you have to be happy. We hear a lot, I hear about players coming, even Nicola Pepe coming from France. You have to be able to enjoy your environments before you can give your best to anything. And it's the same when you even go to work
Exactly.
on a Monday.
To give you all, even at work, I mean, you'd have to enjoy what you're doing firstly at work. In regards to mental health, that you guys do know, I'm a strong advocate for listening out for and helping out those who are going through a tough time, especially now. I mean, with depression being at such a high note and something happening to a loved one or people that we care very much dearly about,
Mm-hmm.
you asked me my thoughts on William Saliba, and I was in the Arsenal board, for example, or the people that make the big decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I would try and do as much as I can for the player. So I don't know if sending him on a loan out to a championship team would help that, because sometimes when you're grieving, you need to have those that love you, or your friends, your closest friends or your teammates around you,
Yeah.
so they can help you through the process of whatever you're going through. Now, if he goes to a Brentford or a Watford, for example, I mean, it's going back to square one. It's starting right at the beginning, because he doesn't know any of the players, doesn't know the
Mm-hmm.
coach, doesn't know
Yeah.
the
Yep.
staff. He's further away from the likes of all of his teammates. I know they're probably in contact somehow, but it doesn't help. And if anything, I know a lot of Arsenal fans, I mean, a lot of supporters are actually just complaining to say, then why not just keep him at the club, and why not just, have him integrate and play matches with us, because we are the ones that are closest to him. So, yeah, I hope they make the best decision as possible for his sake,
Mm-hmm.
which means probably, I don't know, I would say keep him. I would say
Yeah.
keep him, integrate him. Um, Maybe not play him in as many games still, because if you didn't know, just by the way, guys, his mother actually passed away in May, which was a few months ago. And I know
Yeah.
the process is long, but like I say, in my personal opinion, do what's best for the player.
Process can be long at any age, Gary.
Yeah, one of the things that
Remember,
you said, Ray, that I just keyed on just before you move on is that you
oh yeah,
said happy.
yeah,
And at least one of the things that I remember that my dad saying is, try and do the things that make you happy. And if if the whole thing doesn't make you happy, find those things in there that make you happy. And that I think that's probably kind of key to this whole thing is I believe he likes soccer. He may not, like it as much, but if we're going to do soccer, I want him to be able to enjoy it and everything around it. So being happy is key. A lot of times
yeah.
if you can find those things that make you happy and stick to those, and you have something to go fall back on when things aren't going your way.
We've seen so many examples of players, even transfers that come in from Europe, or players that leave Arsenal who have flourished at Arsenal because they were happy and they sold out because rightly they want to secure a future for the family. They get more money, go to another club, and they're not as happy. They might be getting the money and paid very well, but their football you really suffers because of it. Yeah, am I here?
Alexis Sanchez almost did.
Hmm.
After one training session, he went back to his manager and said, please, he went back to his agent and said, please, can we not cancel my contract? Because
Yeah,
something I feel is very, very, very wrong.
yeah,
And unfortunately, at that time it was done already. So there was really nothing he could do. And look exactly what happened. I mean, a great player ruined, absolutely ruined.
yeah, yeah. Sam, championship is not the right level for a start. If you want him to play, loan him back to St. Etienne in January and let him play the rest of the season there. A very, very good point, Sam. And what I'm coming to next, Gary, is with Saliba. What it's first of all, the January window is 2.5 months away. So I would think that's a perfect amount of time for if he doesn't play any games, that's perfectly fine by me. He needs to go through the process of grieving, and we need to ask ourselves what the question really Arsenal have probably asked for themselves and should ask is what is best for the player uh, moving forward. Forget about the football. What is best for the person going forward? Because we have him tied down to I think 6-year contract. We are going to find out what William Saliba is all about, but we need to give him time first.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like Sam's example there of another approach that they could take because he could just go home now, get himself comfortable, acclimated back to being at home for a while, and then come the new year, just go ahead and start playing, with a team that he knows, with players that he knows, and then we'll try it again in the summer, when he's able to come back and. It's definitely another option. I think anything, like I said, anything that makes him happy, and if they're not able to work it out, that he can go back. Then at least I feel like Arsenal is the place where he needs to be, or he should. I
And
mean, that should be the easy answer to this whole thing. Is
yeah,
he either needs to be home, or he needs to be with, his home away from home with Arsenal.
and here's the thing: if you're going to loan a player out, he's even if it was Watford. Let's say, for instance, it's Watford. Their training ground is next door to Arsenal. He could almost pop in and out. People would say, "Come back and talk to the players. See Aubameyang. See all those players." But it wouldn't be the same thing because he's traveling with a different group of players, and he's going to have to form friendships and relationships with those players if he goes to Watford or Brentford or Bournemouth. Arsenal are talking about sending him to the best footballing place that would only benefit Arsenal in terms of his development professionally. It would not benefit him personally and with the issues he's going through. And as I mentioned already, and Sam had mentioned it's 2.5 months here to January. I think the best thing for William Saliba is to wait and let him figure things out and get through it for the next 10 weeks, which is 2.5 months. And we got to think about the player here who's going to be an asset to the club in the future. But for now, unfortunately, we all hoped, myself included, hoped that he would be a big part of our plans this year. But we have to take these situations into account. The grieving process for losing a mother, I can only imagine it's a terrible thing. Tony, what's your view on William Saliba? Keep or loan?
I think keeping him probably the best thing for the player. He can get the support he needs from our players and staff. I don't see the point of sending him out on loan if he's having problems adjusting to life in England. I don't see where it helps him at all going out on loan.
Yeah, unfortunately, the loan, as Gary alluded to, the ideal would have been going to Saint Etienne or Rennes or somewhere in France, but that fell through. And with that being said, now I think the best thing, really, in my opinion, is to keep William Saliba within the confines of Colney and the Arsenal uh, family. Let's call it a family because we've all seen pictures in the background. And say what you like about Aubameyang on the field as a captain, off the field he's every bit of a captain. The way he's able to keep everything loose. You can see he's deadly serious when he gets on the pitch. Aubameyang is, but he's able to keep things loose in the dressing room, right, Gary? You
Definitely.
see a lot of banter going on, and that can only help Saliba as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said I think he's got. I like to think he's got the family he needs, at least the soccer family that he needs with Arsenal. I mean, you've got Saliba, who's just as young. You've got Martinelli, who's just as at the same age as he is.
Yeah.
They're all performing, and that could rub off on him, even if he does go back in January. But he definitely has players his age, players that are older, who've been through this before, who are mentors. I mean, you've got if he's a center back, he's got Luis there to help him out during the practice time. He's got Gabriel, who's showing that this is what a professional is able to do when they change leagues. And he's got examples to look up to. And I think So he's got some of the support that he needs with the soccer. I think he needs that family. I mean, family support as well. But I think it's the best. I mean, Arsenal has the best that they can offer for him right now. I think until he's able to either go back home or feel comfortable where he's at. If that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, Mahir, I think I'm going to give you the final word on William Saliba. I was just putting this up, but I do hope that the club do what's right for the person and not necessarily the player. But oftentimes, when you're a younger Arsenal fan, you just want your team to win. We all want our team to win, and you want to think it's like a video game that you can just plug these players in. These players have families. They are human beings, and they have family. And as Darren has said here, Lee Dixon's words and the words of my old social worker always stay in my heart. That's for sure. Our players are human too, who deal with so much pressure, personal and career-wise. We need to look after them. So, Mahir, I think you muted yourself again, Mahir.
I think it's the sound echoes too much. But that 100 million% what Darren just said, when it comes to the safety and the well-being of a player, players are human too. They go through personal situations and they go through situations on the pitch as well. But we need to do our best to actually just back them fully, back whatever is going on. And in the end, you're going to see the positive results where players come back stronger than ever due to this all the support that
I have
give
full
them.
confidence in Mikel Arteta, and we're going to probably do a podcast maybe Thursday night. We're going to talk about Mikel Arteta's temperament and what we've seen in his tenure as Arsenal manager, his temperament, and what we can take from that moving forward. Because I've been impressed in all of his press conferences. Mikel Arteta has done and said all the right things. I think there has been very few missteps by Arsenal in the last 9 to 10 months, I would say, in my personal opinion. Things are moving quite well. But we do wish William Saliba the best. And in talking about Mikel Arteta and the club, I do believe, I hope I'm right, that they will do what is right for the player in the end, moving forward. But I'm going to turn this one over to Gary. He wanted to start off a new topic here. International interlull issues. Gary, take it away.
Yeah, so as soon as I saw the report that Tierney was on a team, one of his teammates that he may have crossed paths with, is positive with COVID. My initial thought was, why are we having these international games in the first place? And if we are, why don't we, do them? If they're required, why can't we do them later in the seasons? Because I feel like they interrupt what is already a somewhat of a bubble that the domestic teams have right now. And now you're sending players all across the globe and then bringing them back. And then it's either going to hurt the domestic game because they're going to have to sit out like currently, Tierney does, or, they're going to not get the same player when they come back and play because they've either come across the virus and now they're going through the recovery for that. So so it's easier, I think, when you have the bubbles, and that's kind of what the NBA has shown, is that if you have a bubble and you're able to kind of contain the athletes out from all the elements out there, that you're going to get them at their best. And we don't know what the ramifications are of getting the virus. So I feel like it's something that they probably didn't think about as much as they probably should have, because I feel like when this first came up, the first thing that happened is everything was postponed, right? Some things canceled eventually, but everything was postponed, and while they thought of a better plan, and they needed to probably do that again, because having players travel around the world just kind of, it doesn't feel like a good it doesn't feel like the good option for me. At some point, teams are gonna, if a player has a sniffle or anything like that, they probably won't even let, I don't know if they can, but they would rather recommend they stay, get themselves healthy for the 2 weeks break than to send them out. A lot of these teams are going out there just for friendlies. Is a friendly worth it? I'm not necessarily think so, but maybe, for the tournament games, yes, but even those, can't they be done later in the season? I know it changes the schedule and all of that, but they've done it already. And if it becomes an issue, they're going to have to postpone and then go back to the drawing board and figure out what is the best thing to do, because I could, I think, somebody before the season even started, I recall somebody discussing maybe pushing things out to having the domestic seasons kind of get, crushed, reduced in terms of their duration, so that you're playing 2 games in your domestic leagues a week as opposed to going away and coming back, and then and then that would definitely speed up the end, the end dates for these domestic tournaments, and you still have time to play when the weather's not that, it's not too hot, and I felt like that would be a good opportunity for us to, for them to do this without the risk.
Yeah. Mahir, the whole issue really is you're trying to compress Premier League in. You're trying to get your international fixtures done as well, all in preparation for what would have been Euro 2020. Obviously didn't happen this past year, in preparation for the European Championship coming up next summer.
Look, what I think, I totally agree with Gary. Gary brings up some very beautiful points when he says it's not only the isolation when you have to go out and come in, because obviously different countries have different levels of restrictions right now, and rightly so, to save lives. And it's not only that, it's actually, what angers me more? The fact that most of the, or a lot of the times, actually, players get injured while out on international break.
Yeah.
And then now we've got a run of fixtures versus Man City and Manure United and the Chelseas of the world, and we're missing star players. We have to play with the likes of Kalissa Trash as left back. Oh my God, guys! Like, don't even get me started on Kalissa Trash. Don't even get me started. Yes, I backed the guy as a side point. I backed him as he first came in, and I was like, maybe this is our left back. And the decline was so bad. My cousin still teases me, says, "Hey, I see your guys playing, eh? No Kieran Tierney. Your guys playing there left back now." I'm like, oh my God. What a play. Oh, why now of all time? But it's very important. This international breaks, I mean, it's total waste of time. Unless, like Harry said, it's for a big tournament. Unless it's for Euros qualification, World Cup qualification, those type of things. Please, rather just keep it as a separate period on its own somewhere, somehow. I'm sure they'll be able to manage.
So we have a couple of different creative names for Kolasinac, Kolasa Trash, Colossus Trash, and Stan's one as well. So, but Stan had a dream last night about Kieran Tierney. He seemed like a nice chap. And,
well, I mean, it's not really a dream. I believe he is a nice chap. So, well, and I guess now that you have names for Kolasinac, I guess like you can say it's fake cola, right?
Oh.
What do you think about a player who's established as a first team player versus his backup? The difference between a Tierney and Kolasa Trash is quite a big drop off.
You got to go one here and then the other one
way down.
Yeah, you don't know. It's not even on the scale.
I would say even on 2 different planets. Like, Kieran Tierney is here with us. You are on Mars or Uranus or whatever other, or Jupiter.
Yeah. I do like Sam thing about having a tournament. I mean, in this day and age, like having, like, for example, having the groups all play in the same country, playing each other, and then going out, right? Because now you're self-containing. All the players are not traveling back and forth. I mean, it isn't something we want to do long term, but it is a good short-term solution, right? You play all these games close together. You play whatever number of games you need to play over a course of a 3 or 4 weeks, and then you go and then you start playing those knockout rounds and stuff like that. I mean, everybody would like that, right? Because you're gonna have tons of games, so it's not games. Everybody's gonna watch them, so they're not gonna lose any TV dollars. I mean, people are gonna watch these games. They want to watch it with the starters, though. They don't want to watch it with the backups.
No. A lot like the hockey that was going on. It was all within one arena. The hockey games were, and I think they did that quite well. The National Hockey League. Shout out to Lumber Camp. Would rather watch paint dry than watch international. Standard and international plays just gone down. It's been diluted over the years to where second-tier international teams have just gone really, really bad. And you could count on one hand probably the amount of really, really good international teams there are in the world right now. It's really, really sad. Mobe Gunnar, Tony's asking about Saka. Is there any news on Saka? He wasn't involved today for England, not even on the bench. Hope he's okay and ready to go for us. So I've not heard anything about Saka, but we can certainly check into that.
He played 75 minutes for the day, so he probably was just resting.
Maybe Arsenal called all their players home. Said we're done.
He played 75 minutes, Tony.
And the other day he did the last match Wednesday or whenever it was.
Oh, in the England game, so maybe rotation. And I think were these just friendly games for England?
The first one was. This one was the UEFA Nations League or whatever the hell it's called.
I think Gary's pointing to Stan's comment here. I really did have a dream about him. I can't remember much. We was laughing a lot. Probably at Tony's prediction for last next goal. Yeah, because Tierney's the one who's going to be setting up Aubameyang on the left side. But that is a conversation for another time. I think it'll be another podcast whether we should play Aubameyang through the middle or on the left-hand side. I think that would create a lot of conversation between us. And Sam thinks Kieran was tickling you, Stan, wasn't he? All right, so listen, that's the interlull issues. The final section today we're gonna go ahead, Tony. Davy Crockett, go.
Tierney's had 3 tests. He's negative. This summer he already had COVID, so he probably wasn't gonna pass it around to anybody anyway.
Yeah, and the frustration for Kieran Tierney, just to finally put an Arsenal spin on this interlull section, Gary, is that Kieran Tierney followed all the rules. He tried his best. I could probably see him as a model citizen, taking all of the recommendations, social distancing. They were apparently playing some video games, and apparently he's frustrated at the fact he wasn't able to leave the Scottish camp and come back to England.
Yeah, I think that's kind of strange, especially if they're able to, like the team said. I think they would maybe get a car for him so he could at least travel back. They can keep him in whatever bubble they have. But then he's there and he doesn't have to do this traveling later and then get back into the fold of being on our Arsenal in an Arsenal team and all of that. Like kind of people travel. I think there's ways for them to get around this. I don't even think he needed to take a flight, right? He can drive if they needed him to.
Drive.
So
yeah.
So I think that's definitely something that hopefully they can work it out so he can get back. Because it'd be nice to be able to have him, ready to go. If not the first game, but the next game after the break. Especially
if he has tested, taken numerous tests and come to be negative. So he's not suffering from the virus at all. So. Let's hope all of our players come back in good health and in good fitness as well, ready to go for the Manchester City game away from home, which is going to be a big one. As Mahir said, we've got 3 games coming up, especially in the league. We talked about the Europa League on Thursday night. We can navigate Vienna, Rapid Vienna, Dundalk, and Molde with a mixture. I know Gary wants to throw some of our youngsters in there, a mixture of Deadwood and youngsters. I think we can quite easily pick a team, and Arteta can pretty much save his more established players or his more dynamic youngsters for the Premier League. Right?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like we can do that at least in these early stages. I mean, we might, if we need to, we can always bring in a more stronger team later on if we see we're not getting what the results we want. But I feel like I think we have good talent out there. They just need the game time. These might be the best opportunities, at least right now. As the season progresses, I doubt those opportunities will be available to them. So.
And I think, Tony, what happens very, very quickly in the Europa League group is if you win 3 games in your first 3 games, you're in a really, really strong position in your group. We play away to Vienna in the first game, but then the next 2 games are at home to Mold and Dundalk. So I could see us quite easily getting 9 points from those 3 games.
Pretty much 9 points pretty much guarantees you a passage into the next round.
Yeah, and then when we get into the next month of November, we have the return games in December, and things will get a lot easier. Then we'll be able to concentrate more. Well, let's look back on the Premier League review. A lot of things have been going on in the last week, Arsenal related. There's not a lot of news, Arsenal news right now. I think we just covered a little bit in pieces here on Saliba and what's going on with Kieran Tierney internationally. But let's look back. It was only a week ago, right? At this point, 8 days, last Saturday, when let's talk about Chelsea 4, Crystal Palace 0. Gary, this seemed like a pretty straightforward win for Chelsea.
Yeah, you would have thought so.
Right?
You would have thought so. But I mean, like we've said, I think one of the things that you can do now with a team like Chelsea is you can catch them still trying to figure things out, right? They're still trying to. They have all these pieces that are pretty strong separately, but now we want to bring them together and make them play as one. And that it's going to take some time, and it's I think we're seeing what we expected to see, right? It's going to take some time, and you can catch them catch them early. And that's what we want to be able to get there before they figure things out, right? We want to play them before they figure everything out that they have. So that's what's happened. I mean, especially in some of these games and with some of these turnovers, and some teams seem like they're getting older. Some teams are reloading, but it takes time to acclimate. I mean, will they get the same kind of? They didn't get the same kind of result as a Gabriel who came in and his first game looked like, okay, I can what I was hoping to get, I got that and more, right? We saw some of that, we saw that in the Chelsea's first game. We said, all right, well, Timo looks really good. He just doesn't have, the pieces just aren't working together for him right now. And it's been, 3 and 4 games, and it's still not working for him right now, right? I don't think he's scored yet, right? So I think, he hasn't scored in a Premier League game again, I think. So, yeah, this is we expected this, right? We kind of expected Chelsea to kind of be sudden this kind of lull with it.
Yeah, exactly. Tony, Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Ben Chilwell, Chelsea fans are getting a little bit of gas because Ben Chilwell did score a goal, and I think he had an assist in that game as well.
Yeah, he had a good game, and they were up and excited for him.
He's still not a Kieran Tierney, though.
Nope.
Ben Chilwell. And he's twice the price. It's got to be said.
Good bargain for Tierney.
Yeah, good bargain for Tierney. For years to come, we're going to be talking about Tierney, Gary. 25 million, and we should have paid probably double that price. He's worth twice that.
Yeah, but it did come with a caveat, right? And the caveat, we saw it even when he got here, and it's still in the back of our minds, right? We really want him, we want him to be healthy all the way through this thing. Whatever campaign he has this year, we need and that's one of the he needs to have breaks. I believe we do have the players that can give him the breaks that he needs, so that we're not stressing him out too much as far as his endurance and whatnot.
Yeah. Hopefully, I see Bukayo Saka as being that fill-in player, at least for this season. I know Arsenal fans would want to see Saka settled into a position, but I just can't see the likes of Ainsley Maitland-Niles or Saka right now being those kind of players, or even Willian. Willian is going to have to slot in certain positions as per required in the team. And Thomas Partey is going to have that adaptability as well. We saw the interview with Mikel Arteta. He sort of smiled about the tactical things he can do with Thomas Partey. So there's a few players in our squad that we're going to need to fill in for other players. And you're right, Kieran Tierney, he's going to need a few games rest here. He can't play a game every 3 days. But Gary, Everton 4, Brighton 2. It looks like Brighton might struggle this season, and Everton, it's there. They've got that new bounce. They've got some players that came in, immediately making a difference for them.
Yeah, I mean they showed flashes last year. We knew that they had two good guys up top. They just didn't have everything they needed. Similar to us, right? We have strong attacking players. We just don't have that connection. I think we've reduced the gap now with Partey, but we don't have all the pieces that we wanted. So they're kind of shown us the way, and we knew the way. We just couldn't execute. So and what we see from them, we're seeing it even now. Like even with the England team, you're seeing scoring coming from the Everton, from Calvert-Lewin, right? So
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, that's where we want to be, as far as having a complete unit, front to back, and yeah, they look good.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I'm just going to go.
Calvert-Lewin.
I'm just going to go DCL from now on. I struggle with that one.
There's too many names. The guy in the blue shirt at the top of the the pyramid in the front.
Gary James Rodriguez as well has had an instant impact in there as well. I benefited from two very similar goals. All of the play got sucked to the left-hand side of the attack, and he was there on the right side of the back post to clean up.
They got the pieces that they needed. I think everybody was surprised how well those pieces have worked, and maybe it is because the season is still new, but we'll see 10, 20 games into the season how those things are panning out.
Yeah, definitely. There's always a team, Tony, that kind of like starts off really well in the season and gets out to be the front runner for the first 5 or 6 games, and then they get reeled in a little bit. What do you see happening with Everton, Tony? They have to go to a Merseyside derby. They're at home to Liverpool when they come back.
I still think they have a realistic shot at the top 4. I don't see them slacking off anytime soon.
Yeah,
they'll continue.
They have a good coach as well. I mean, we at Arsenal have a direct correlation to Ancelotti as well, because a lot of our fans did want to go down that road of getting an established coach, right, Mahir? We're very, very happy we've got Mikel Arteta right now, and it wouldn't have changed anything now for that in the world, but at times Arsenal fans were talking about Ancelotti.
We went through really, really tough times, really depressing times, guys. Again, mental health on ourselves, basically.
Yeah, for Arsenal mental health, yeah.
How bad was Emery? Emery was terrible.
Yeah.
He was trash.
Yeah. That's one thing I want to tell everyone watching this live or on Rewind. This is the place to come to, build the channel, grow the channel here. Come with us. We're going to instantly celebrate every win. We're even doing a percentage. Every win, we gain 4.5% towards our goal. We're going to build that total up. And we want to enjoy Arteta and Arsenal. We've had many years of decline, and I hope that getting Thomas Partey with all the mechanics, and watch Thursday night's podcast as well. It was a lot of fun, a lot of banter, but the takes that we took on what happened on deadline day was fun. The movie kind of takes we took on it was fun. But I think Everton, Mahir, are going to be a decent team, like Tony said.
You guys already know my thoughts on one player that I am so jealous of that Everton got in the midfield. And for 20 million.
James Rodriguez?
No, Decore.
Okay. Mahir, you start. We come back to Manchester City on Saturday. Manchester City played out a 1-1 draw with Leeds and Bielsa.
Go ahead and take your pick about what's fantastic about these smaller teams when they go up against opposition, where they actually say, you know what? Who cares if they're a big team? Who cares if they're top 4? Who cares if they challenge for titles? Let us go and do what we need to do. I mean, it was a hard-fought draw, really, honestly and truly. And the thing we can take away from it is when bigger teams get beat, we can follow some of the tactics in order to break their team down.
Yeah. Gary, question for between Leeds and Manchester City. Are Leeds that good, or are Manchester City that bad, or is it a combination of the two?
I mean, it could be just the bounce, right, that you get when you come to the league as well. I mean, it's the early part of the season. So I think at this point, Man City is probably not where they want to be. So maybe it's a step, down for Man City. And you're getting that bump from moving up to the Premier League for Leeds. So they're maybe
Yeah.
a lot higher than they probably will be at the end of the season when this season wears you down, right? They came in that Liverpool game. They surprised teams. They had an opportunity to actually either win or at least tie that game, and now they got to tie again. So I think as the season progresses, the bigger teams will probably prevail. So I think it's a kind of a combination of two teams kind of coming closer to each other, but over the course of a
Fighting
season,
doors.
I don't.
Tony, Manchester City in years gone by, I think Manchester City may have probably snuck a win there. So, but Leeds are definitely holding their own within the division. Leeds won, Manchester City won. Tony.
Leeds have been giving everybody a serious go.
Yeah.
They're hitting the ground running, playing really hard, playing attacking football end to end. They're fun to watch. And City just hasn't hit the ground running this year. I don't know what their struggles are. They kind of struggled at the end of last year after a restart. I don't know how much that has to do with Arteta leaving and trying to get their coaching staff where they want it.
He assembled a great comment here. Everton are using a simple philosophy. If you defend well and outscore your opponent, get a goal here and there. And that's hopefully what Arsenal are going to try and do as well, as we reduce the amount of goals. If you saw the first part of the podcast, our predictions in goals for and goals against.
Yeah, I was going to say something else as far as like the Leeds team.
Yeah.
Is they don't have significant turnover, like losing a player or something like that may have retired or gone back home or whatever. So when they come in, they're probably playing mostly with the same team they had that got them there. So they know each other. They know they can do certain things that other teams that are still trying to acclimate with the new teammates. And like you said, Arteta leaving kind of set them back a little bit to figure out the things that he was doing well that they didn't have before. So the turnover, I think, also with some of the bigger teams is kind of it takes a little time for them to get acclimated and get kind of figure things out. So.
Yep. Leeds are up to 8th place with 7 points, and strangely, Manchester City are 14th on 4 points right now. So, next game, I hear Newcastle United 3, Burnley 1. Looks for all the world like Burnley's going to struggle this season. They're 18th place with 0 points, and Newcastle are on 7 points after 4 games, I think.
Wow, but then again, acclamation of new teammates. I think they signed Newcastle signed Callum Wilson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
As well as part
Newcastle
of their new.
have picked up quite a few canny signings. They've got Hendricks as well, I think, from Burnley. They signed him from Burnley. So, yeah, Newcastle have done some decent business.
Vital part of Burnley. It's the reason why getting your team chemistry in order or balanced is quite actually it's very important when it comes to the start of a new season, because you getting new players in and obviously some key members possibly going to your rivals as well.
Gary, that winger from Newcastle who came last year looks like he's settled in now and looks like he's enjoying his football. We're talking about enjoying life, and you can give your best football. So Saint-Maximin is playing quite well for them.
Definitely. He definitely is working out well for them. I'm not, I haven't seen them play. I didn't see that game play as much as I would have liked to. But yeah, I think it seems those teams that are missing they're missing maybe one or two things, and they're getting those players that they need. are seeing the bump that they want, and that's kind of what they got. Newcastle got, and those teams that haven't aren't seeing the bump and are struggling because of it. So yeah.
We're going to skip around a little bit. We go to the next one so we can get to the good stuff for the end of the podcast here. Tony, our friend Charlie from West Ham, he's got to be loving. West Ham they're having troubles, yes, but on the field they've gotten a good result. I think in game week 2 against Wolves, they jumped up on Wolves. Did something similar to Leicester City, 3-0 defeat of Leicester City. West Ham did very, very well on the last day.
Yeah, it was a very surprising result. Strong as the Leicester started off the season, I figured West Ham would lose 3-0 or 2-0, but instead they won 3-0.
Don't waste that tweet. Leeds are a big club. They also have a very experienced manager. Yes, but they just came up to the Premier League. So I think until you prove yourself in the Premier League, you are a giant club. But look at what Man United are doing right now as well. You would say Man United are one of the biggest clubs in the world, but they're not performing like it as well. So you have to come to the Premier League and show your mettle each and every day. We're just talking about Leicester City here. They probably walked up to West Ham and thought they were going to win 3-0. And that's what it is, Mahir. You need to come up each and every day when you go to the Premier League. You need to earn the right to win. And that's what West Ham did against Leicester.
Yeah, I'm sure Tony and Holly will agree with me when I say you have to take it one step at a time. What's beautiful about right now is let's just remain humble. I would love to see our rivals drop more and us just go out there and give everything we've got. And basically, I know we got a tough run of fixtures the next 3 games, but personally, if you ask me, I would love to see us thump Manure United.
Yeah, you're talking about staying humble. You're talking about staying humble. Time stands at 110 0. When we get to 120 0, you're going to be giving Man United loads about the 6-1 defeat.
Look, by all means, because when they've got big mouths, then we are expected to just receive, not say anything without getting insulted. What about you guys? You guys aren't this great. Yeah, but I had a good joke with somebody. I bantered them. One of the United people in my group, one of my friends, because I said to them, "Yo, what happened? You guys are trash." So he said, "Oh, you guys aren't that great either."
Lots of trash.
Yeah, we're trash as well, but at least we took 3 points. you.
And you know what, Maher? You're right. That's all that matters at the end of the day is the W. Gary, I keep saying Gary and Tony did this watch along last week. All that matters is the win. You don't want to give up a goal. We got 2. We got 1. We go home with 3 points.
Exactly. I'm just so disappointed I couldn't celebrate the goals because I was on during the first part, and then when I ran into technical difficulties, I came in just as we started scoring goals. I'm like, oh man, like where was I to celebrate with my guys? My panel.
The coyote was chasing you. That's what happened.
Jeez, man.
The coyote was chasing you.
It was a tough 60 minutes, and it was not because of Tony. It was because of the game. We were just you're just sitting there on the edge of your seat, just going, at any moment they could get a goal here. Because, and, even though we had most of the possession of the ball, it still was like, when they did get possession of the ball, they were threatening. It seemed, and so that kind of was I guess that's the scary part. But when we had the ball, we just weren't threatening enough. But like you said, we got the win. We came in, we kind of hit them pretty hard and fast. They didn't know what to do for a little while, and then we were able to hold on.
In the second half, yeah. James, thanks for joining us, Spurs fan. But you're welcome here. All sports fans are welcome. We're actually going to be talking about a big Spurs win in about 5 or 6 minutes from now. Your 6-1 win over Manchester United. We'll be talking about that one soon. West Ham is their next game, and West Ham and Spurs are always difficult games because that is a London derby. Bale could make his second debut as well. Imagine Son, Kane, and Bale. West Ham may struggle. Yeah, that's the beauty of the games, though, Tony. You never know what's going to happen. We didn't think Aston Villa would win 7-2 or Tottenham would win 6-1.
The results are pretty great. Again, that's why you go out and you play the games. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Tony, take me through. It was pretty run of the mill. Southampton 2, West Brom 0.
It was a pretty boring game. I didn't watch much of it, but what I seen of it was boring. And Southampton won and will win in the points.
6 points from 12 for Southampton. 6 points from 12 for West Ham. Mahir, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Fulham 0, and that's what Wolves did last season. Keep clean sheets. Like I think the Assemble said, Everton's philosophy: keep clean sheets. You're going to get a goal somewhere, and that's what Wolves do perfectly.
Defend well, and when you get the opportunity to score, go for it.
Yeah.
Personally, on a side note, guys, I just want to say for us, right? What I think we need to integrate a little bit more is just taking shots. Like everybody, just taking shots. Because I feel the ratio is a little bit too high right now. I mean,
especially when you're.
Well, I always like to joke that our team we get paid by the number of touches inside the 18, because that's what it seems like we do. Touch, and the ball gets taken away. And you're like, well, why don't you just shoot it?
It can be ticky-tacky until you get to about 12 yards out. Then you can take a shot. Not like Eddie Nketiah against Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
That's why you're wondering why we didn't ask for Eddie Nketiah.
He wanted an invitation, right? He wanted an invitation. Please take a shot on my goal, and he didn't do it. And I was like,
we pass when we're supposed to shoot, and we shoot when we're supposed to pass. I mean, I know we build ourselves on beautiful football, but personally, right now, just go, guys. Everybody, take shots. Take shots.
I wish it was only an Arsenal problem, but it's not. We're seeing this. We see this all. That you can watch many a game where the players will get an extra touch or too many touches, and then whatever advantage they had is gone because they just let the defense catch up to them, and you never want to do that.
Right. So listen, and take this opportunity. We're going to go for about another 10 minutes here. We got 3 more results to go through for the Premier League review. Slap a like on the video right now, live or on playback. Press pause on playback. Right now, press pause and slap a like on the video. Because if we get to 30 likes, Tony's going to make me sing.
Don't slap a like. Don't slap a like. For Tony, for Gary, for Ray, for myself. Go ahead and smash the like button if you breathe oxygen. However, if you do not breathe oxygen, it's okay. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Even if you don't breathe oxygen and you're an inanimate object, slap a like on the video, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you don't want to hear me sing, there is a mute button. You can put it on mute while I'm singing. But, let's get to 30 likes. We haven't done that yet. Yeah, we already touched on Arsenal, Gary, but let's talk about it a little bit more in depth. We saw formation changes. We saw the formation change benefiting Pepe, which is one of the remits probably for Arteta. We did spend 72 million or a large amount of money. We're not evaluating the player in terms of his value, but a big part of Arteta's job will be to spark Pepe into greater numbers this season.
Yeah, and that was the first thing you saw when you saw the lineup come out. You're like, well, are we going to go to a 4 in the back? Is this, I know we, look like it. So I think I was hoping, that's a stepping stone, and and then having Pepe come in and do what he did, that's kind of solidified what we want to see. We want to see that all the time. We want more. We want more of that. Mm-hmm. The defense looked really good. We, teams that are, lower than us on the table shouldn't get much opportunities, no matter how, and even when they do, we should be able to, squash them. I liked keeping Leno pretty clean. He didn't really have to. I don't think he had to make that many dives or saves in this game at all. So keeping him clean and upright is going to be nice, especially the fact that we don't have a backup for him. So that was really nice to see us be able to do that for him. Eventually, hopefully we have a backup and stuff. But
on a side note, Gary, with Bernd Leno, signing Thomas Partey and the amount of times he's going to be in the team means to me it's 5 to 10% possession, more possession will go to us because Partey is really, really good at getting the ball and turning it back and going in the opposite direction, which means more possession for us. More possession for us means less concentration or less work that Leno is going to have to do.
Yeah, and since he's in front of that back four, right? That means it's closer to our front three or four, depending on what we're playing, and thus hopefully more opportunities to score, more times to put pressure on the other team, and to hopefully finish off games when they do get stretched. So
question from the assembled. This is what I mean. Leeds worked out in Nketiah. It wasn't good enough for the championship, but Arsenal are convinced he's good enough for the Premiership. Who acted like a big club, Arsenal or Leeds? Here's the thing: you have a club, Leeds, who were going for the championship. We've already mentioned, they have established team camaraderie, and Nketiah was a lone player going there. He was always going to play a bit part in their push for promotion. You're not going to trust if you have a well-set team and you're going to take a loan in, unless you're in desperate situation like a Danny Ceballos for us. You're not going to trust that player completely and just give him starts. We have not found out yet if Eddie Nketiah is Premiership proven. He's splitting time between Lacazette, in my opinion, right now. That's what happened last season. But I'm going to let Tony weigh in on that question as well.
For me, they used him weird, bringing him on the last 15 minutes of most of the games. He'd go out and usually get a score or assist. Like you said,
what is the level of Nketiah? Is he Premiership or is he Championship or is he somewhere in between, Tony? We don't know yet.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We have yet to verify. And how old is Nketiah? He's still young, right? 19?
Something like that.
Yeah, and he's not. We're not going to know what he's like for another year or two. So give him time to grow into the team. I think he's a prospect that could do quite well for us this season, but we're not going to know, even at the end of this season, Mahir, what Eddie Nketiah is.
Give it 3 years. Give it about 3-4 years for him to fully integrate himself properly. Shout out to also Clock In podcast as well.
Yeah.
He says Monty lads.
I do listen into those guys. They're a good podcast, so people go and support them as well.
Yeah, go and support them as well, guys.
Yeah, I just checked. He's 21, so he's a lot older than you think.
We're thinking. Yeah. But Mahir's giving him 3 years. I don't know any club that would just give him 3 years. He's got to show that he's going to progress as well, right?
Personally, who I want to succeed as our striker, though? I want Martinelli to come back and with bang. I love this guy. Love this guy. I love him too much.
Let's move on. The next result was James Fernandez. We'll be interested to hear about this one. Mahir, you can start off with your bantering of Manur FC. Go for it. 6-1 defeat.
6-1 defeat. What can we say? We've seen Maguire get compared to a really expensive fridge. Manchester, basically any Manure United supporter, if you're watching this, I want you to take this as offensively as possible. We love you guys to come and join us on the podcast, watch along with us. But really, honestly, you can't tell us anything. Honestly, anything at all with everything that you're going through, because after years and years and years of picking on us, top 4, you guys just make top 4 every time, and you just guys think you're a big club that you make top 4. Well, we constantly did it. And when we were going through our toughest times, you want to give us banter and then get offended when we try and give you banter. Now I'm gonna give the panel and all our subscribers and everybody that supports Arsenal a chance to have their say also, because you guys are trash. You guys are trash right now. And I hope you keep losing. I hope Ollie keeps his job and you guys still keep losing.
You
Because
guys let
huh?
Tottenham beat you 6-1.
You
Sorry,
let
James.
Tottenham win 6-1. A draw would have been. I predicted a draw that game. I think it was. I predicted 2-2. And to see that result, even Luke Burgham says here, even a penalty before kickoff. Even before kickoff, couldn't say Manchester United. I love how angry they get. So
Yeah.
them with the big mouth after years and years and years, karma comes around, and karma's shutting you guys up right now. And like I
Yeah.
say, I hope Ole keeps his job. I hope you guys fall out of existence.
Mhm.
Never mind being anywhere near the top four. Fall
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
existence
All out
for
of existence.
all the banter that you've given us. And right now, I back my manager all the way and our players to do all the big things. You know, all our young players, Aubameyang to bang, Pepe to not be compared to a flop, even right now, even though he's slumping form. Like, you'd love to see it. You'd
Mhm.
love to see it. I mean, it's a
Finish.
blip in the matrix here, Spurs winning, but what really can I say about this game? I don't even have to talk about all the errors and everybody getting compared to expensive fridges with the 80 million defender and
I think
man,
I
love
think
him
I
like
could
that now.
make. I think I could go make a cup of tea and you'd still be going when I come back.
Yes, yes, but I'd rather keep it sweet and short. I'd love to hear from Gary and Tony also on their
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah, I'll go to Tony next. But Isambo said, and Nketiah reminds him of Andy Cole. He's a decent player, but not Arsenal quality. If we're thinking about a team that's going to win the Premier League, maybe Nketiah is not the regular starter that you're going to have as winning the Premier League, but he could be a squad player. I think that's where I see him right now. 21 years old, right? 22. And we should, but I'm not in any way giving up on Eddie Nketiah. He's done some good things. I've seen goals against Everton. He's the kind of player that doesn't give up as well. He's scored some goals against Southampton last season away from home and against Leicester in the Carabao Cup, who we are in the quarterfinals with Manchester City, fighting to get that goal, a second goal against Leicester. So we need that kind of player in our forward line as well. Tony, Spurs 6, Man United 1. Man United racing to a lead and get a penalty as per usual, but they fall apart then.
They get a penalty within the first minute of the game. Then there's the red card that wasn't a red card. Tottenham should have been the one down to 10 men at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. Now I remember Eric Lamela, and we've had some issues with him. He is one of those players that has it in him to be a shithouse player.
Master of dark arts.
Master of the dark arts. Uh, Gary, any funny points for the Man United game? It's so far away now, but we kind of need to prolong it.
No, I mean I'm hoping that they continue as
Entertain
Mahir
us.
said. Continue as you were. No changes required. This everything's good. We'll stay with that. That's what you want.
I want
But we
Ole
also,
drive. I want Ole at the wheel still, driving happily down the road.
but at what expense are we talking about here? Because we're looking at the other team who won,
Yeah,
and
I know.
Oh,
and we're crying because that just makes me cry because we don't need Son, Kane getting cars, getting able to manufacture cars out of nowhere. Now you got Lamella joining in and say, look, I can
Yeah.
do it even better than you guys, and you got to watch out when you play them. That's because at least for me, that's what it always seems like. And so they need to come back to earth at some point, maybe when we play them, but hopefully sooner, so they're not feeling that they've got this thing.
All right. Final game of the season. We were actually doing a podcast. Final game of the Premier League weekend. We were actually doing a podcast last Sunday when this game was going on, and it was a madness. Gary, take us away through your emotions, going through the podcast here, doing our thing. We're getting flashpoints from our friends in the comment section here.
Yeah,
my
that.
God, Norma, this was Norma trying to keep us up to date.
I mean, I guess after going through the games that we had against them, getting, not, getting seemingly getting punished when we played them, and then being able to squeak out a win, and then what? And then everybody's like, you know what? I think Arsenal softened them up, and that's all they had left. I mean, I kind of would like us to feel that, hopefully they're lucid, they get loosened up and weakened by whatever game they play before us the next time we play them, because I like to see us do the exact same thing. I think we've got 7 goals in us. I believe we do. I mean, right?
I think actually, I think it's a stretch to think that we broke them, Gary. But I think that Jurgen Klopp got so tactically sidetracked by dealing with Arteta, and this is maybe bigging up Arteta a little bit, but I believe Klopp used his squad in a way to beat Arsenal on the Monday, which they did, but then to pick another team, and they picked some first teamers in there to try to beat us in the Carabao Cup, and it didn't happen. That he took the whole team kind of said, okay, we're past the Arsenal test, the Arsenal psychological test, and then they go to Aston Villa and take their foot off the gas by 10 or 15%, and that's all you need in the Premier League, Gary.
Yeah. And also, they didn't have Mane, right, playing, so they did have one of their strikers out. Would that made a difference if they gave up 7 goals? Maybe, but maybe they lose 4-2 or something like that. But the way that game was going, it looked like they were just under pressure the whole time. And like you said, we were sitting here talking, and every time we looked up, there was another goal. I mean, so 7 goals. You're like, okay.
It was a fun afternoon.
Yeah. No, I feel like we broke them. I feel like we did.
Yeah, let's take the credit. Let's give it all to Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
Tony, we did it. Arsenal did it. Liverpool are just going to slide now. Everton are going to win the league.
I hope my prediction is wrong. Yeah, and Liverpool doesn't win, but we'll see. We'll see what happens after the break, and after they get things situated.
Like you said, Gary. Even if they're 15 points worse off than they were last season, they should still have enough to win the league. Tony, your observations from that game. Liverpool supporters will rationalise it and say 3 of the goals were deflected somehow, some way. I saw that game, and Aston Villa pretty much had their way with Liverpool, and that's concerning if you're a Liverpool fan. Yes, it's an anomaly that you're going to lose 7-2, but anomalies can still pop up. You can still lose 2-1. You can lose 3-2. What's going to happen to their season, Tony?
Like I said, I originally thought City was a win, but the way Liverpool's been playing, I think I'll go ahead and win the title. I think Klopp will get the machine back rolling together. But just showed the strength of the league with teams. Anybody can beat anybody on any day. You get strange results like we did last weekend.
Tony, is Liverpool over reliant on Mane?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, yeah. Mahir, you predicted right at the start of this podcast that Manchester City would win the league. We're going to remember that. What happened to Liverpool?
Liverpool over-rely themselves way too much on having, like I say, not dividing the gold enough among the team. Maybe relying too much
over-reliant on the forward players, Mane and Salah. And Firmino, Liverpool fans love Firmino, but he doesn't score enough goals for me.
No, I don't think so. Look, I mean, he's very overrated. That's the word I was looking for. Overrated, actually.
Yeah. Okay, let's get out here. This has been the Premier League review. We're going to do previews and reviews. So probably Thursday, we're going to look ahead to the games coming up on Saturday. We talked about Saliba today. We talked about the Interlull problems and issues that we're having. And we did some predictions at the start. So final thoughts, Mahir?
Final thoughts, I just want to wish everybody well, that they keep safe even today's times of COVID, that my panel are all safe and their families. Much love from me. Much love to our subscribers, everybody please, if you know of any Arsenal supporters that enjoy quality content, refer them to our channel. Let them hit the subscribe button and become part of the Arsenal fan
Yeah,
circle. Have a
yeah, we're
nice.
we're all in this together. People in the comments, people watching back on playback. We're providing content here. I hope you're enjoying it. Part of the group, be part of the group. We're growing. We're going to enjoy Arteta and Arsenal together as we go beyond the FA Cups. They'll go deep into the Europa League, beat Spurs 5-1 in the final, and having Cedric score the winning goal that gets us top four, so that Stan, I can put it back at Stan and say, hey, Stan, Cedric, you see, that was money well spent at the end of the day. But yes, share the channel with your friends. Don't be selfish. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it, right, Tony?
Yep. Share, share, share.
Any final thoughts? And I want to say, Tony, it's great that you and Steve Denham have had that interaction in the comments. We'd love to see it. And Stephen, if you're watching, I'm going to sing that Davy Crockett song on Thursday night. I was waiting for you to come in today to be live. Next time you're live with us, I've got it ready. I'm going to sing it to you. So that's what I do. That's what we do for our viewers and subscribers. Gary, put a bow
Yeah.
tie on the whole podcast.
Yeah, well, I'd like to say thanks for all of our viewers live with us today, right now, and those that come in and watch the replays. Hope you enjoy the content of just some friends talking about the team we love,
Mhm.
about some of the teams we don't love as much or love at all, but enjoying it nonetheless, and enjoying this ride that we're on right now, one game at a time, one
Yeah,
week at a time. You
yeah.
know,
And if you're a Manchester United supporter, rewind to about 128, something like that, where this one went off on you a little bit. So, yeah, Roadrunner, and he's with us till the end.
yeah.
So, catch us again on Thursday. There's Thursday night. There's not been a lot of new Arsenal news, but maybe that's a good thing. We don't want to hear about injuries. We want everybody to come back from the international break refreshed, ready. Let's get Thomas Partey into the team, and hopefully he can start on Saturday. And we will
Party, party,
see.
party.
Let's have this. Let's just get this party started, right? Let's
Definitely.
whatever pun you can have. Party, party, party. It's
Party.
party time. Party time, baby. All right. Slap a like on the video. We will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Be safe.
Okay,
Come on.
everyone.